Hey team, so in this video what I wanted to do is quickly walk everybody through what my process is for backing up my N8N workflows. I know there's been some questions in the group over the past little while and I have created a JSON workflow that I've shared, but what I want to do today is just properly introduce that to everybody, I guess, and walk you all through exactly how that process works. So this is the workflow that I'm going to share with you all. What is in here, right? So you have on the left, you can ignore the test workflow for now. On the left, you have a schedule trigger. So I have this whole workflow runs once a day for me. It runs at 4 a.m. in the morning and it backs up to a folder in GitHub. That's what it does. When that trigger is scheduled, it fires up this N8N node, which is something that was brand new to me. I didn't realize you could do this, but this N8N node, within your settings in N8N, you can generate an API key. So you would come in here and you would put in your API key, and that's the base URL there. Whatever your cloud instance is, /API/v1. Your resource is going to be workflow, because what you want to do is pull your workflows, and your operation is going to be get many, and you're going to turn on return all, because you want every single workflow you have in N8N backed up at least once a day, I would say, if not more often. So that's essentially pulling from the N8N instance that you have and holding those workflows. It then passes those workflows into a loop where for each one we're gonna add it to a repository that we have in GitHub, which is this node down here. So within here, you will have your GitHub credentials, your resource will be file, your operation is create, your repository owner, this is, I'll show you this in a second, but this is your username in GitHub, and your repository name, again, I'll show you this in a second, how to set up a repository. Your file path, what I wanted to do here was set up a folder per day. So that's what I'm doing in here. So the file path, so when it goes in and does it 4 o'clock in the morning, the date is constant. It's not going to move for the whole time we're cycling through all of my workflows that I have. It's still going to be the same date. If that file path is not there at the point where your workflow tries to go and set that up, or tries to go and add your workflows to the backup, it will create that folder and add your workflows into it then. Then down here, you need to just make sure you are stringifying your JSONs. You're actually sending JSON to your backup, and your commit message. A commit message just to, what are you committing to GitHub? It's a git artifact command, whatever way you want to look at it, just to say what you're doing. In my case, all I do is I just put the date in there to say, because it would then tell me this is the date that it got added to GitHub. Cool. And then I have some other things in here, which is, so first of all, if it loops over everything and it works, the output of this loop will be the number of workflows that you have. I thought it'd be useful to get an email to be able to say, it's worked or it's not worked. So once this is finished, it comes up to here. I limit the output then from, whatever, 50 something workflows down to 1. And that just sends me an email. And it says in the subject, N8N workflows backed up successfully. And in the message, it says, bring it easy. The opposite thing happens, or not the opposite, the same kind of thing happens if there's an issue. So I wanted to make sure that I put some error protection in here. So at the point where the N8N node is pulling the workflows, if it fails, it will shoot a message over here to the fail mail message, which, similar to the other one, is just going to send me a message saying, look at your workflows here, just to check what's going on. You can put whatever message you want in there. That just makes sense to me. Same as we're looping over them. If there's any error when we're looping over them, it will again tell me to go and look at it. And this in particular, if you're ever going to have an error, is probably where it is. Not that I have had any, but this is where you're going outside of N8N. So like this is over the internet, all the issues that come with doing that. So if there's any issue here, again, it will just drop me an email and say, you need to go and have a look at it. Okay, so let's talk individually about how to set each of these up now. Each of these nodes up, excuse me. So schedule trigger is pretty self-explanatory. The trigger interval is every 1 day at 4 a.m. I want this trigger to run within N8N. So to set this up, let's assume that I don't have an account. What you do is you grab, actually let me just go back and I will show you where that API key is. So if you go to settings down the bottom here, yeah, sure. And then if you go to N8N API, you'll see I have an API key created here. Create an API key, copy it, go back to your workflow, go back into here, create new credential, API key, and then your cloud instance, whatever that is, whatever's applicable to you, /API/v1 is the important bit. And just hit save. So that'll give you your credential. Then once you have your credential in there, you want to go and get your GitHub credentials. Now this is a little bit more involved, but still a simple process. So you want to go and get yourself signed up for GitHub if you are not already signed up for GitHub, okay? When you get in there, go to your repositories page and you want to click on new over here. So this is going to set up a new repository for you. And this is important in a minute because we're going to restrict access from N8N to just this repository. So we go new, you would say new backup. You want to keep it private, obviously. If you have it public, anybody on the internet can search it. Don't do that. Just make sure that you're keeping your repository private, and you can pretty much ignore everything else that's in here. So that will set you up a absolutely blank repository with nothing in it, just some instructions down here from GitHub on how to use this in particular, which you don't really need to know anything about. Okay, so we have our new backup repository. Now we're going to go to over on the top right here where your icon is, where your profile icon is. You're going to go to settings, and you are going to go down all the way to the bottom here where it says developer settings, and then in personal access tokens we're going to set up a fine-grained token. Okay, so we do generate new token here. Call it whatever you want. Let's for consistency call this new backup as well. Doesn't need a description, but let's just copy paste the name in there. Now the resource owner is obviously going to be you. Your expiration date, you can choose to have this expire on a custom set of days if you want. I don't, which is probably not best practice, but you can set it to 30, 60, 90 days, whatever. At which point you'll have to come in here, regenerate the token, and go back into N8N and put your new token in. That's the reason I don't do it. It's just a pain in the butt. So you want to keep it on no expiration. You want to click in your repository access. You want to come down here and click only selected repositories. And then from that, you're going to select the repository that we just set up, which is new backup. Then your repository permissions and your account permissions. Essentially turn all of these on. So I'm not going to go through and click them all, but you want read and write for all of these all the way through. Okay. And the same for your account permissions. You want to come in here and go read and write for all of these as they're in here. Okay. When you do that, you hit generate token. Let's just do this because it's not really going to matter. Generate token. You will see in here, this is your actual token. You only get, like in a lot of places when you have an API key or a token, whatever, you only get to see this once. So make sure you copy it immediately, otherwise you're going to have to go and generate a new one. So you would copy that. You go back to your workflow and you come into your GitHub node. Then you want to do create new credential and click on access token. You can leave the GitHub server as it is. Your user is whatever the user you set up when you set up your GitHub account, whatever your name is. And then you paste your access token into here and you hit save. And that is good to go effectively. So from there, now these are the two optional, you don't have to put them in here. I'm not going to go into how you set up a Google Cloud application to actually get your email to work and all that kind of stuff. You guys can figure that one out. If you don't want to have them on the end here and you just want to have it run and not email you, just delete those bits at the end. They're not required to actually back up your stuff. And that's basically it. So again, schedule a trigger for me, 4 in the morning, pulls all my workflows. For every workflow it pulls, it sends it to GitHub, it puts it in a specific folder that's labeled with the date. Actually, I can probably show you mine, just to give you an idea of what mine looks like. So you can see in here, I've had mine rolling for, this is not the repo we just created, this is a new one. This is my existing one, sorry. So you can see in here, I've had this rolling for a while, and within each folder, if I click in here, you will see this. There you go. There is the list of all my, it's in JSON format. That's exactly what we want. You can see for all the different workflows that I have, it gets backed up every day. If we just go back out, look, excuse me, look at, oh my goodness, go backwards. There we go. If you go into the previous day, you'll see exactly the same thing again. So all the workflows that I have. That is basically it. Now, should you do this or should you not do this? If you're using N8N for anything where you don't want to use your workflows, which I'm assuming will be everything, yes, you absolutely should be doing this. I'm sure there are, there's many ways to skin a cat. I'm sure there are other ways to do this. For me, this is the simplest way to do it because you're in N8N, that's where your API key is for there. You set up a GitHub account, generate a token, create a repository, good to go. That's it. And then once you turn it on, you never need to come back to it unless you get that email to say it didn't work. And that's it. So if there's any questions, let me know. I will share the workflow. I will share this workflow in the posts that I will put the video link to. If there are any questions on any of that, please give me a shout in the comments on the post. Thank you.